All right, so good morning, everyone. Welcome back, and let us discuss how to solve the problem statement which I had given you as an assignment in our previous class. So, this is basically a problem statement where I want you to find out highest frequency word. Is not it? And what are we expecting is we are expecting to check what is the total apple together. So, apple we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 1, 2, 3, 8, right? And ball we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. Okay, and cat we have 1, 2, 3, right? So this is the output we are expecting if we do a word count, right? But the question is find out which word has the highest frequency out of these three, right? So this is what is little different. Okay, now let's try to understand how do you even solve this problem, right? So we will use a very simple approach to solve this problem, and over the period of time as we go on with very advanced concept of MapReduce, I'll show you how can you optimize it very easily. Okay, all right. Now, the first thing first. So, one thing you will have to take care is this capital Apple and this small a apple should be treated same. Okay, that is one thing I want you to do. Okay, so what we will do is we will again have to write what mapper and reducer. It's not it. We'll have to write mapper and we'll have to write reducer. That is what we have to basically focus. Now, think from mapper point of view. Okay, first. Okay, so see, at the end of the day we have to compare each of these words, right? You don't have to do them individually, because if you do individually then you'll not be able to find out what is that word which has the highest occurrence, is not it? So you have to bring them together, which means you need to bring them together in the reducer. Okay, so very smartly what you should do is in your mapper map method, okay, in your mapper map method you'll get key, you'll get value, and you'll get context, right? And as you all know, key is basically offset. You really have nothing to do with that. Now in this value part you'll get this, so the first thing what I would like to do is I'll say v dot to string. Let's convert this into string, right? Because we would be doing some operation on it. So I'll say string line is equal to v dot to string. Done. Next, once you got this data, let's try to break it down, right? Let's try to break it down into an array. So you will say line dot split of what? Space, right? Because they are all separated by space. So you'll get now here data, string data array, right? Or you can say words. It's better if I say words, right? Words. Done. Now once you've got this word, what you'll do, you'll use your same for loop, right? For loop, and you'll say st string w from words, right? And here you will simply say context dot write key, let me keep 1, okay, and value let me keep w, right? So key we will keep 1 and value we will keep w, and this one is basically what? Integer, but I want integer type of data to be sent. So I'll say new int writable. Right? Similarly, this word is basically a string and I want to send it to the further layer, so I would say new of text, right? So now the important thing what you need to understand in this example is why are we sending one in our to our reducer? Is what it is. See, all this occurrence whatever we get, right? All this apple ball whatever we get, we must, we must send it to the reducer under the same group, right? And I want to do little modification here. this W I should send after converting it to lowercase. First you convert this into lowercase and then you pass it here, right? Because we have apple and we have capital Apple and we have small apple. So we want them to be treated same. So let's convert everything into lowercase and send it, right? So yeah, so we will apply some technique to convert this into lowercase and then we will send it, right? Done. So this is the code snippet of your mapper, right? So once your mapper is executed for this whole data set, what are you going to get the output? You are going to get the output. Let me write it here, okay? So you'll get apple, you'll get like this. You'll get 1 and apple, right? This one, okay? Again, you'll get 1 and you'll get apple, right? Again, you'll get 1, you'll get ball, right? Again, you'll get 1, you'll get ball. This one. Now you'll get apple, apple, 1, apple, 1, apple, done. Again, you'll get 1 cat. You'll get 1, you'll get small apple because you've converted that. Okay, you'll get 1, you'll get ball. So this is what you're going to get for this data set, right? This is what you're going to get for this whole data set. Done. Now for this data set, again, for this data set, you'll get this. You'll say you get 1 apple. Again, you'll get 1 cat. Again, you'll get 1 cat. Again, you'll get 1 ball. Again, you'll get 1 ball. Again, you'll get 1 apple. Okay. Again, you'll get 1 ball, small b. Okay. Again, you'll get 1 ball, small b. Okay. Again, you'll get 1, you'll get apple. Right. Done. Now this is what you have got from your mapper, right? This is what you have got from your mapper for these two words from these two files, right? Now the next thing what will happen is this will be shuffled, right? When you say shuffle, they will be mixed together. They would be brought together and they would be mixed together. After shuffling, you will see them together, right? After that, what happens? The data would be sorted. Okay, sorted based on what? Based on key. And what is your key here? 1, right? Your key is 1. So they will be sorted, means they will appear as it is because they are just sorted by what? Key. So they will appear as it is because the key is same. After that, you will see them grouped, right? So in the grouping phase, what will happen is this data would be grouped by key. And how many different keys you have in this case? You have only 1 key here, right? And that is 1. So you'll have 1, and all this would be an array element. Apple, then ball. Okay, apple, apple, ball, 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 dot, 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 ball, apple, dot, 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 ball, apple. Right? So this is what would be the output of your grouped by. Now, since you group this data, now it will go to your reducer reduce method, right? So it will go to your reducer reduce method. So in your reducer method, your key would be 1. Your value would be your iterable would be this array, right? And you have a context object. Now what needs to be done? That is important thing, right? So what are we going to do with this? Let's try to understand. Okay. So in your reducer reduce method, the first thing what you should do is you will iterate through this, right? You will iterate through this, and when you're iterating through this, what are you going to get is you are going to get a lot of all these apple ball, right? Now what we have to do, the first thing first, we must calculate the count of it, right? We must calculate how many apples are present and how many balls are present, right? So the best thing what you can do is use a concept called HasMap, right? So in Java, in Java collections, we have something called HasMap. So HasMap can be used to store the data in a key value pair, and that is what I'm going to do now. Okay, I'll say let me maintain a map. Let me maintain a map, an empty map, right? So initially the map is empty. Let me maintain a map, empty map, and for every such word, right, I'll say, see how are we going to populate this? The map is empty, right? Initially I'll read this word apple. I'll say, do I have apple in this map? No. So initially you'll say, do I have apple in this map? No. So I'll say store apple 1. Okay, next time I'm reading this. Do I have apple in this map? Yes. So update this value. Done. Next, ball. Right, ball. So I'll say, do I have a ball in this map? No. So put apple 1. Then I'll say, do I have apple? Do I have ball in this map? Yes. So update this value to 2. Right, again, do I have apple in this map? Yes. So update it to 3. Do I have an apple on this map? Yes. Update it to 4. Right, do I have this cat in this map? No. So again, insert one record. Again, do I have apple in this map? Yes. Update it to 5. Right, again, do I have apple in this map? Sorry, ball in this map? Yes. Update it to 3. Okay, so we're done with this. Again, do I have apple on the same map? Yes. Update it to 6. Do I have a cat on this map? 2 times. Okay, so yes, so 3, 2 and 3. Again, do I have ball in this map? This 2, right? So it will be 5. Right, again, do I have apple in this map? Yes, so 7. Okay, again, do I have ball in this map? Do I have ball in this map? 7. Okay, do I have apple? Do I have apple in this map? Yes, so 8. Right, so this is what you have to bring first out of this, like whatever you have done processing. The first thing what you need to do is you need to bring it like this. Done. Okay, now if my requirement, see, now again I'll twist my requirement a little bit. If my requirement is, if there is any equal, if the words are equal, then give me anything. I really don't care, because for me anything is okay. If I say that, then your approach would be, now what you do, this key value pair, right? So this key value pair you have to convert into value and key. So what I'm saying is, this map is what you have right now. I want you to convert this into another map. Okay, where key becomes value and value becomes key. So 8, 7, 3. Apple, ball, and cat. Okay, so what I did is I converted this map to another map where key becomes value and value becomes key. And I am saying, if there is any tie, if the words are same, then if the frequency is same, then I really don't care if you give me apple or if you give me ball. I'm okay with both the answers, suppose, right? So suppose that is my requirement. In that case, you'll convert this into key value pair. So this will be converted like this. Okay, but you should use a sorted map, guys. You should use a sorted map, because I want this data to be sorted by key. You may say, hey, it's already sorted here, right? It is sorted here just because you saw apple as the first occurrence. If I would have got cat, then the first element here would have been cat, is not it? And map by default will not preserve the sorting order, right? So it could go anywhere. So you should use a sorted map to sort this data based on the key, so that you get this output, right? Once I got this output, then the top record, the first record will fetch you the highest frequency. Okay, this is one approach. This is one approach to get the output. Another approach could be, since you have got this data, you have constructed this map properly. Now you'll have to figure out what is the highest element in this value part, right? So in your map, you should get access to these values and figure it out which value has the highest occurrence. And let's assume we have 8 as a highest occurrence, right? And if you have 8 as a highest occurrence, then what you can do is iterate through this again. Iterate through this map again, right? And for every such word which has 8, you print this apple and 8. Okay, that is one another approach to solve it. In that case, you will never miss, like you will be able to print both. Like if I have multiple words with the highest frequency, let's say apple also has a frequency of 8, ball also has a frequency of 8, then you will not miss this. Okay, now you may say, hey, I like the concept of this, converting the key to value, value to key, right? Now there is also one more approach which you can use, that is called as multi-map. right? So in my Java session, you might have studied a little bit of map, right? And I've told you in map, you will be able to store the data in a key value pair, and key would be always unique, right? So if you're storing this data in a map, then you cannot have two eights, okay? However, there are some situations where the situation demands you to have more, to maintain more than one word for the same occurrence, right? So it is possible that you may come up with a requirement where you get where you need to store the key and value pair and your key are same, right? You want to store multiple value, so in that case you can use something called multi-map. Okay, so multi-map is basically a third-party library, and you can use that to get your work done. Okay, but at the end of the day, this is what we have. So you have to do a lot of things in the reducer, right? So if you see this problem statement, mapper, you are not doing anything great, right? So, and all your logic, whatever you have to put, all your logic you should put in your reducer code. So the reducer code is a little tricky, is not it? So that's how you should be solving this problem. And once you get this, you just print this and you are done. Don't even print all these details, right? Because I know I've already captured the highest occurrence word. Okay, so let's move forward and let's try to implement this in our MapReduce, right? So see, these are something which you don't get, right? So the thinking capability is what you have to build, right? And you'll get this all by your experience. And I'm sure when you start working on your big data project, okay, not necessarily you'll write a not necessarily that you'll write a MapReduce code, but you'll still have to use this kind of technique, map and multi-map and all. So these are very, very important thing which I want you to understand. Okay, so let's go back to our system and we'll try to solve this problem practically, right? So let me share my screen. Okay, and as usual, let me take VMware Fusion. Let's create a project. So I'll copy this project like this, copy and say paste, right? And let's say _6. Okay, and I will call it highest frequency word and say copy. Done. So we are here, highest frequency word, right? We'll go to this place and let's try to change our mapper, reducer and driver code. So I'll go to my mapper first, right? I'll go to my mapper first, and here what are you going to get? We are clear now. We will get apple, ball, apple, something like this, right? You may get the data in uppercase, you may get the data in lowercase. Save. Okay, so first thing, let's implement this. Okay, so I'll delete everything so that we are doing it completely from fresh. This is what we have. This is what we have, right? Okay, now the key would be long writable. The key would be that offset value, which I really don't care. Value is what we are interested in, right? So this is what you are going to get first. Okay, so now what I'll do, see here, I'll say value dot to string, value dot to string, right? And what I'm going to get here is I'm going to get the entire line. I'll say string line is equal to this. Then, okay, now the first thing is, once you've converted this into a string, let's try to convert it into lowercase directly. It's not it. So line dot to lowercase. Okay, line dot to lowercase will give you the string in lowercase. So like now, let me not do it there, let me directly do it here, line dot to lowercase. Okay, so line dot to lowercase. So this will give me the data in a lowercase directly. Okay, then let me try to divide them into a array, right? So I'll say string words is equal to line dot line dot split by what? Split by space. Done. So this will give me an array, right? So this will give me an array. Done. Now once you got this array, you will say for loop for string word from words. Okay, and you will say context dot write Now what you need to send? You need to send one and such word, right? You need to send one and such word. Is not it? However, you will have to convert this into what? Iterable, right? And let me define a constant here. I'll say private static iterable one is equal to new int writable. Okay, and I'll say one, right? And why I'm using a constant here, guys? Because I know that this would not change any time. Is not it? Otherwise, you are free to say new iterable every time. But let's not do that, right? And here you will say this would be text. Okay, so context dot write one and new text. Okay, why there is an error? Possibly because of this. Is not it? Because now my output would be, I'm going to say one apple, so I will have to reverse this, one and apple is text, right? Done. So I'm done with my mapper code, right? I'm done with my mapper code, and my mapper would process all the data, and that will get converted into one apple, one ball, one apple, one ball, and so on. Now I should go to my reducer method. Okay, now in this reducer method you will have to see the very important thing is how do you visualize. That is most important, right? If you cannot visualize it, trust me, you cannot solve problems, right? So now what we will do is we will have to understand, okay, this is my reducer code wherein I'll get one as my key, and I will get apple, apple, right, ball, apple, ball, apple, anything like this, right? So this is what you're going to get in your reducer class, right? Now again, remove all this thing whatever you have done so far. Okay, so now this text would be okay, so this was iterable, is not it? This was iterable. You may ask me, hey, can I change it to text? You can, because again, I am not going to do anything with this one, right? It's up to you. Okay, so let me go with the iterable. That's okay. So reducer is getting iterable, right? Reducer is getting iterable here, and reducer is going to get text here. Okay, all right. And what is the output you are expecting, guys? You what is the output you are expecting from this reducer? Are you expecting the output to be like this? Apple had the highest occurrence of 8 as per our example and data set, right? If that is the case, what is this apple? This is text. And what is this 8 iterable, right? Which means this part is completely fine, and this part is also completely fine. Okay, now there is a problem here. Why? Because we have changed something, right? So if you want to fix it, you can fix it. You can say okay, so this is basically iterable, and what is this? I'll say one. Okay, I really don't care about it. Okay, and this is basically text, right? And I should say these are all words iterator, right? Words iterator, and I'm done. Otherwise, you can delete this and recreate your reduce method, and it will give you the same thing. Okay. Now in this case, right? We are into reducer. Now what we will do is we'll have to iterate through each of these elements. So I'll say for text of t of or text of word from words it, right? So this is a words iterator which has all the elements as an array, and I'm saying I want to get access to that array one by one. Okay, done. Now for the first time, what are you going to get? You're going to get apple, let's say, right? So you, as I have told you, you have to maintain a map, right? So where should you maintain a map? You can maintain a map anywhere. You can maintain a map here, okay, or you can maintain a map here also. Choice is yours. I'll tell you what is the proper place to maintain a map, but right now let me maintain a map here inside. Okay, now I'll say map. So what is a map, guys? Map in Java is nothing but a key value pair. What is your key? Your key is basically going to have, your key would be basically apple, right? And your value would be basically 1 2 3 4, right? So I'll say map of string comma integer, okay, integer. All right, and I'll say word count map is equal to new has map of this. Okay, now import this. So you will have to say Control Shift O, shortcut to import, Control Shift O. Okay, so I have created a map right now here. Okay, now what you need to do is, in this map we'll have to store element, right? So first time you got word, now you should check, do I have this word already in my map or not, right? Because you'll be iterating through this map every time. So I'll say if word count map dot contains key, okay, contains key, what is the key is word dot to string. Okay, see, this word is basically a text, you have to convert that into string, is not it? So let me do one thing, I will convert it here first. Okay, so let me not convert it here. I'll say string word, let me make it w, okay, so that I can use this name here, word equal to w dot to string. All right, so I got this word here, and I'm trying to say, do I have, and I'm saying word count map, do I have anything, any key like apple, right? Do I have any key called apple? No, right? So this is a if condition, right? So this is a if condition. So for this, for the first time you will not get anything, your word count map is empty, right? Your word count map is empty, so this will be false, right? If this is false, you'll come here, and what you should do is, you'll say, hey, I did not get anything called apple, so let me add that apple here, word count map dot put. Okay, and what are you going to put? You're going to say apple and 1. Okay, you should not get confused that why am I putting string and integer, why not text and int writable? Because this is your Java logic which you are developing, right? And you are writing it inside your reducer method. So inside your reducer method, whatever you do, whatever operation you do, usually you will use the Java libraries, right? So you will do all your operations, and then before you send it to your further layer, you will have to convert them into Hadoop types, right? But internal logic would be all written in Java. Okay, done. This is done, and you have stored apple 1. Okay, next time you'll again get apple. So you see this, you are iterating this, right? So next time you get apple, so next time when you get apple, you already have stored apple 1 earlier, right? So this time this would be true. You'll say, okay, I got the key. Now what you should do is, you should say, okay, if you got the key, then let me get access to it. So I'll say word count map dot get. Okay, get, and I'll say take this apple, and give me the count. Okay, so see, the structure of our program is, initially the map was empty. So let me write it here itself. Okay, initially map was empty, right? Now when you did this, when you executed this for the first time, the w would hold apple, okay, but your map is empty. And now you are saying, you are checking this, if word count map dot contains apple, no, right? For the first time it is all empty. So you are getting into this, and you are saying, okay, in the word count I'll put this apple, right? First time it is apple and 1. So after that, what will happen? This will become like this map, and here you'll get apple and 1 key value pair, right? This is what you got. Okay, next time when you are iterating this for loop, next time this w would still point to what? The next element, that is apple. But this time when you say, do I have a key called apple, right? And it says yes, right? Because you have a key called apple. And now you're saying, okay, if you have any key called apple, then word count dot get me that apple value, right? So when you say get word is apple, so what it does is it basically returns you back this value, that is 1. So you got 1 here, right? So now what you should do is you should increment your 1 to 1 more. So I'm saying count plus plus, so count is incremented from 1 to 2. Okay, done. Next, what you'll do, you'll have to put them back to your map. So you'll say word count map dot put, okay, and you will write this word and count. Now when you do this, what happens, you got access to the word count was 1, you incremented that count to 2, and then you are putting them back to your map. So what will happen, when you're putting the value back to the map, the value would be overridden with the new value. So now the condition of your map is it becomes apple 2. So let me write it here, next line. So your map has become apple 2, right? Your map has become apple 2. Okay, now again you will read the next row or next word ball. So again it will come here. Okay, it will come here, and I'm checking if my map, and I'm checking if my map contains ball. No. If it is no, then again you are going to this else block and you're putting ball 1. So your condition would now be apple 2 and ball 1. So copy this, and now it will have element like this. Apple 2 is okay, and then I'll say ball and 1, right? So you got ball 1 here, done. Okay, now again it will go and process the next record. Next is apple. So again it will check, do I have apple already in my map? Yes. So this would be incremented to 3. Okay, again I'll check ball, do I have a ball already in the map? Yes. So it will be again updated to 2, right? And this will go on, till your words are all over. So what I can say is, can I say this piece of logic will give me all the occurrence of apple ball and so on? Yes, right? So now at the end of the day you will get here, let's say apple 8. Okay, let's assume ball 7. Okay, and let's say cat, oh, what was it, cat 3. Okay, so we are going by our own example. Okay, so this is what you have got as the output after your this simple logic, right? Now the next thing is we will have to figure out which is the highest element out of it, right? Now there are many ways to solve this problem. Okay, so there are many ways to solve this problem. One way would be go and find out the largest value. Okay, one way would be go and find out the largest value. So now what I'll do is I'll say word count map, okay, dot, right, dot, let me check if I can get value. See, if I say values, then what I'll get is I'll get the collection of all the values. This will give me all 8, 7, 3 and all, right? So I can say, and this, and see, when you say this values, what is this? This is going to return you a collection. Okay, see what it is going to return you. It's going to return you a collection of integer, right? So you can say collection, I'll say all values is equal to, okay, again say control shift O, imported, right? So you got access to all the values here. Now what you can do is iterate through this value and find out the maximum out of it. Okay, iterate through this value and find out the maximum out of it. So you can say I would iterate through all the values. So you'll say, see, you'll maintain something like int max value is equal to, let's say 0. Okay, and then you'll say for now these are collection, right? So can I convert it into a array list, right? So let's try this out. Array list. Array list. Control shift O. Okay, now I'll just have to say list of, and you want to make it control shift O, util.list, and you'll say integer. Okay, so looks good so far. All right, now let me check what is this, is a raw, and I'll say give it to me like integer. Done. Okay, looks good to me so far. Okay, now we will iterate through this and we'll find out the highest element out of it. Okay, so I'll say for uh, for integer of count from all values. Okay, I'm iterating through all the values and I'm saying if count is greater than max_val, then max value is equal to count. Done. Okay, so this will give me the maximum value in this variable. So as per my observation, my maximum value is 8, right? The maximum value what I can see is 8, right? So this 8 is what we want to check now. Now I got to know that okay, there is something there are occurrences of the words with the highest frequency equal to 8. Now we have to go back and print all those occurrences where I have the highest value, right? So now what you'll do is you'll have to iterate through this uh, through this map again, right? You'll have to iterate through this map again. So let's do that. So I'll go back to this place and say I have to iterate through this map, right? So I'll say for okay, and entry from this map. What is this map? This map is word count map. Okay, and let me put it a generic one, and this contains what? This contains string and integer. Okay, now what is this entry? Let's import this and go back and check map entry and say finished. Okay, and let me say this dot entry set. Okay, now this is how you write a loop. This is how you write a loop to access your key and value pair simultaneously. Now this entry is basically an object. This entry is basically an object which has key and value pair. Okay, and you can get it like this. You can say entry dot get key would give you the word, okay, and entry dot get value would give you the count. Okay, so you are iterating through this word count map where you have stored everything, right? So what is the status of this word count map? This, right? And now I'm asking you to iterate through this. I'm asking you to iterate through this apple ball cat, right? So you're iterating through this apple ball cat, right? You're iterating through this apple ball cat and you're trying to figure out what is the you're trying to get access to each of these element. First time the word would be apple and count would be 8. Next time your word would be ball, count would be 7. Third time word would be cat and count would be 3. Now you will say if count is equal to this max value, right? Because we want to check if the current word whatever I'm dealing with, its occurrence is equal to the highest occurrence whatever we have recorded so far, right? And if this is true, then I'll say context.write. I'm saying write it down. Okay, and here you'll say write it down. And what are you going to write? You are going to write word, that is apple. So new text of word. Okay, and what is the next thing you're going to write? Its occurrence, new int writable of count, right? So this will give me this will write all those occurrences which has the highest frequency, right? So this will also work if you have multiple words with the same highest frequency, right? Now that's all you have to do. Okay, that's all you have to do. Now once you have done, let's go back to our driver program. Okay, and let's go down. So we are now in our driver program, okay, wherein you can see like you have to provide your input key and value class. So here I will say, here I'll say my mapper is going to give me int-writable. Okay, my mapper, see what is the output from your mapper. This will give you the output. Here you have to convert the output from your mapper, right? In this case, so output from your mapper is one apple, one apple, one apple, right? So one is int-writable and apple is text, right? And it's all done. And it's all done, right? Now the next thing what we need to do finally is prepare your temp input and temp output, like prepare your data and then start running this program. So I'll go back to my source main resources and let me go to this, and I'll just let me create whatever we have on the board. So I'll write it quickly: apple, apple, ball, apple, apple, ball, apple, apple, ball, apple, apple, cat, apple, ball. Okay, so save this file and I'll go to next. Next is apple, cat, ball, ball. Okay, and we will have apple, ball, apple. Okay, good to me. All right, so we have created our temp1 and temp2.txt. You can name it anything, right? Anything, whatever you like. Okay, now the next thing is we must upload it into our SDFS. So let's do that. So before we upload, make sure that your Hadoop is up and running. It's not it. So open in terminal and I'll say start all.sh because I know that it is not running. So it will take some time. So are you guys able to understand what exactly I have done line by line? You see, programming is all about line by line, right? And trust me, I'm not here with a book at the side, right? And then watching it what I should write the next step, right? So you will have to be that much confident. Okay, what needs to be done? Because nobody will tell you the approach. Everybody will give you the requirement. And as an engineer, you have to solve that by thinking what you have to do, right? Like I'm able to solve it because I have done it so many times. That's the only difference, is not it? But over the period of time, yes, if you are also doing a lot of practical, you will be able to solve it instantly. The moment somebody says this is the requirement, at the back end, you should start your thread thinking about the solution. How should I achieve it? Okay, this is how I can really do it out. Okay, so we'll upload our data into SDFS, right? So I'm making sure that we are in the right place. Okay, so I'll say here. I'll say here highest frequency input. Okay, and let me say highest frequency output. Okay, so we have highest frequency input and we have highest frequency output. This is what we want. So now what I'll do is I'll go to my DFS and let's go here and we'll create an input folder first, right? So I'll say create a new directory and highest frequency input. Done. Highest frequency input is done. So refresh this. Okay, so we are here. Now we'll have to copy this piece of data, right? Temp1 and temp2. So copy this two, copy and paste it over here. Okay, again, we are facing the same problem, no worries. So what you do is go to this properties and from here you locate this, go to this and go to this source, main and resources and get them copied from here to here, right? Done. Next, now let's go back and upload it here. Desktop, this and this, and say open. Right? So this will upload those two files into our targeted location, right? So say refresh. All right, I got this data here. Now let's go to our driver program. I think everything is ready now. All we need to do is run as Java application. Okay. So looks like there is some error in our code, and that is where we are getting some exception. So let's go back and let's see where exactly we could not do better, right? So we have a problem at MyReducer.java line number 48. This is the piece of code which is not working. Okay, yeah, even if that does not work, that's okay. We can at least do some other, we can of course follow some other approach. I'll say collection, okay, and let me say control shift O, okay, all values. You will get this. Yeah, so let's try this out, okay. And now let's just save. I'll go to my driver program and say run as Java application. Okay, looks like now that is all done. Okay, looks like now it is all done. Now what I'll do is I'll go to SD user and say refresh. Okay, and let's see the output part R file, and we got Apple 8. Is not it? So we are able to successfully execute our program, and we got the output as we wanted. Is not it? Now what we will do is let us try to change our input little bit, right? So that we have to test it. Like that is working well and good. And now let's go back to our example, and let me add one more ball. Now if you're adding one more ball, then your ball will also have 8, is not it? Earlier your ball was 7, the occurrence of ball had 7, but now when you add one more new word ball, then apple occurrence would be 8 and ball occurrence will also be 8. And what are you expecting this time is you're expecting both of them, is not it? So yeah, so we have uploaded this in our temp1.txt, right? Yes. So you will have to make, if you're doing any changes, then you should go and upload it again here, right? So let me delete these two files. Done. And let me upload this file data again. Upload file to SDFS, desktop, and temp1 and temp2. Okay. All right. So I've uploaded that, and then I'll go back to my mapper. I'll go back to my driver program again, and let me say run as Java application. Okay, something happened, and let's go back and refresh this and open this, right? So we got apple 8 and ball 8, is not it? So we are able to process our data peacefully and successfully, and we are able to achieve the desired output, right? And that's what we are supposed to do. So it's very important for you to think, right, well, what exactly you are writing. Each and every piece of code, whatever you write, should make sense to you. Okay, this is what I have to achieve. Okay. Now there is a question, why are we putting files in the resource? Because during runtime it takes file from Hadoop. I totally agree with you. The reason why I'm putting it under my resource is so that I can maintain it for every project. Right? Tomorrow if I give you this project, then you should look into the resource for the input data set. And that is the only reason I'm keeping it under my source main resources. Right? In the real world, this data you will get this data from your SDFS. Now, this piece of code can be customized a bit. This piece of code can be, refactored a little bit. For example, see, now it is not advisable to write all your story in your Redis method, right? What you can do is you can break it down. So, for example, see, this loop, whatever you are doing, this piece of code, what it is going to do is it's going to convert your whole data into key value pair. Is not it? This data is going to give you everything in terms of key value pair. This is supposed to write the data into a map. This will prepare a map for you. So what you can do is refactor it, move it to another method. Okay, so it's very easy. Just select all of them, right? And here is something called refactor. Okay, and it says extract method. Okay, extract method, click on it. Okay, now you can say give your method name here, and let me say I will say get word count in map. Okay, I want to give a method name like get word count in map, and I want to have them as a private method. Okay, and then let me say okay, right? So what it has done is it has given you all those logic is been moved to this place. Okay, now now your code has become little short. right? Now you'll understand that, okay, if I call this method, then this method will give me apple 7, ball 7, and so on, right? Done. Now again, now what is the next thing you wanted to find out? The highest occurrence word, is not it? So I think you can take this 3, which is going to give you a highest occurrence word, and you'll again say refactor, and here you go and you'll say extract into a method, right? And I'll say get highest count, right? And let's say okay, done. So this will give you a highest count, and it has also extracted those logic into a method, get highest count, done. Now what you're doing next is you are iterating through all of them, and you are writing, all those with the highest occurrence into the mapper, right? So again you can refactor it and say refactor and extract it to a method, right? And you can say write highest frequency word, right? And then you can say okay, done. Now it has also extracted that and written it to a different method, okay? And you can just delete this line, and it's all done. Okay, so this is how you are basically going to write your logic, okay? In a real time when you are writing any code, maybe it is a Scala program, maybe it is a Java program, maybe it is a anything, right? So you will have to extract them into small methods, right? Now what can you also do is you should basically you can basically move this to a different class also, okay? You can basically move this also to a different class if you feel this would be used by many other programs in future, okay? You can move to a different class and you can use them in your program. You can use them in your reducer class, so that your reducer class has minimal logic, right? So that's what you can also do, okay? Now yeah, so now what I want you to understand is, see, all these concepts are like I want you to follow the same practice, okay? Whenever I give you any assignment, you should not write everything in the reduce method, okay? Try to optimize your code as much as you can, try to break them into multiple pieces, right? So see, this get highest occurrence, right? It looks like a very generic method, is not it? Like given a string, given a collection of integer, you are supposed to return a maximum value whatever is present, right? So I can say given a map of key and value, where key is words and value is numbers 7, 8, 9, whatever it is, you are supposed to return what is the highest number, right? So this looks so generic method. So what you could do is you can move it to another Java class, right? So you can say I want to create a new class, okay? And you'll say in.olc.utils possibly, okay? You'll create a util package, and here uh, you'll say uh, my utils, some class name, and say finished, done. Now under this my utils, what you could basically do is you could go back and copy this code. You can paste this code here, right? And you can now use this. So don't define it as a private, now it becomes public and static, right? Because you have to access this from outside, and I really don't want to create a lot of objects just to call this method, because this is a utility method for me. So I'll say my utils dot get highest count here in the reducer. Wherever you see that problem, you'll just say my utils, you'll just say my utils dot get highest count, okay? And you can import this, control shift O, it's done, right? Now similarly, if I go to this logic, get word count in map, right? So this is just going to give you how many this is going to give you apple 8, ball 8, and so on. So here also this looks a very generic code to me, right? So I may be interested to move it to another method, right? So I'll paste it here as well, and as usual I'll say public and static, right? And then you can just say my utils, uh, in your reducer code you just say my utils dot this here, Okay, now this is the shape of your program. What it is saying, let me check. Is undefined for my utils dot one my utils public class my utils static and static public. This will be okay, and reduce a method get word in map. Not saved. Okay, yeah, my bad. The problem is when you are doing this with IntelliJ, it automatically saves. Okay, so that is the reason sometimes I fumble using Eclipse, because I have not used Eclipse since so many days. Anyways, so yeah, now let's go back to the driver program, and sorry, let's go back to our reducer program, and you will see all of them are neat and clean, right? Done. And that's what now this, this import is now no more required in this class, right? So you should say Control Shift O to remove all the extra imports, right? This is done. This is how you are supposed to write the program, guys. Okay, as much as possible, break it down into multiple methods. Okay, your method can be 10 lines long, 20 lines long, 30 lines long, 100 lines long, right? But I'll always say try to keep them as minimal as possible, maybe max under 20 lines. Okay, that's what you'll have to do. I hope you understood the whole concept of this highest frequency word, right? So this is how you can do. Now, there is another approach to solve the same problem as well. Okay. Now, what I'll do, see here, I'll create another reducer class. Okay. And I'll say my reducer 2. I'll say my reducer 2. And in this reducer class, let me do something differently. Okay. Let me do something differently. So I'll delete all of them. I'll delete this method. I don't need this. In the reducer class, highest frequency word, we have to remove this out. No, this will be as it is. This will be as it is. So I'll go to my reducer class, my reducer 2. I'm writing next reducer. Now here what I'll do, see here. Okay. Now till here we understood what it does, right? You get one and you get a lot of words, right? And when you call this get word count in map, what you'll get is you'll get apple 8, ball 8, and so on. Apple 8, ball 8, and so on, right? Now what I want to do is I want to use multi-map concept. Okay, that also can be done. So I'll just show you the syntax, and let's check it out. How can you really use them, right? So let me go to see, everything should start with Google. Okay, so I'll open browser and I'll say multi-map Google Guava. Okay, yeah, so you'll get a lot of tutorials around that. Just open, some libraries and all, some tutorial point, open something, because see, as long as you know the concept, you can always Google the solution, right? Okay, so the first thing first, let's go a little down. Let's go a little down. Okay, the first thing first, you need to add the dependency in your pom.xml. Now your pom.xml will become different, right? So you need to have 𝗂𝗲𝗴𝗀𝗏. So for that, I'll say Maven repository Google Guava, right? Just search it and you'll see something. Now here you have a lot of such libraries. You have a lot of such libraries, right? So you can pick up anything. You can pick up anything. Like I would basically prefer using a number which is complete, not like underscore JRE or Android. So I would basically look for such numbers. Let me check what is the highest number possible, but you can of course use them as well. Okay, there is no harm. You can pick this up as well, there is no harm. Okay, so let's try it out. Let's say copy, and we'll go to pom.xml, control A, control shift F, save. Okay, now I'll go back to this place. Now again, let's go back to browser to understand what is the usage, right? So see, you can get the documentation, API documentation as well, wherein it says if you want to save it like this, you can do it, right? A1, 2, and B3. That's how it basically works. And see, the code snippet is given here itself, guys. The code snippet is given here itself. Okay, so I will try to use the same approach. Okay, I'll try to use the same approach, and let's see what it does. Okay, now go back and let me paste it here. Okay, so what it is saying is you can create a multi-map like this. Sorry. So you can create a multi-map like this, right? So let's try to follow the pattern. Okay, so it says create a multi-map object, something like this. Okay, now in my case, what I'm going to have is my key would be 8. Okay, and my value would be apple and ball, right? So key would be 8 and value would be apple and ball. So import this, Control Shift O. Now be very careful and say next. Choose the Google Guava one, finest. Done. This is what I wanted to have. All right, okay. Next it is saying now you can start putting the data like this. So I already have the data in my word count map. I already have the data in my word count map. Now what I'll do is I'll say word count map. You'll have to iterate through them, right? You'll have to iterate through them. So for entry is equal to, sorry, colon word count map dot entry set entry of, what are you going to get here? You're going to get here string and integer. Control Shift O. Okay, now you will get key and value. So what I'll do, I'll say multi map dot put entry dot get value, entry dot get key. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is this will give me apple 8 and say ball 8, right? And let's say cat 5, let's say cat 5. This is what you're going to get in this word count map. And I created a multi-map object where I'm saying my key can be duplicate. Okay, my value uh, can be anything. So now we are iterating through this word map. We're iterating through this word map, right? So for the first time, this entry would get string and integer, that is string and integer, apple and 8. And what I'm doing is I'm getting this 8 and storing it as a key. Okay, and I'm getting this apple key and I'm storing them as value, right? So value becomes key, key becomes value. So when you do this, then it will be created like this, it will be stored like this, 8 and apple for this apple. Done. Next, now for this ball and 8, what will happen is 8 already exists, but what will happen is it will be stored like this. Okay, this will be stored like this. And now cat 5, so 5 like this, it will be stored like this. Your map will be stored like this. Okay, now let me check if I have something called tree multi-map. I don't know, but I just want to check it out. Yes, we have something called tree multi-map. So I would like to use this tree multi-map. And what is the syntax of this? Let's see. Maybe I'll have to change this to tree multi-map. Done. Okay, and yeah, so this will also create the same multi-map, but the only difference is tree will definitely sort the data. Now we have stored the data, and then see basically what will happen, this will store the data in a map, right? And I want to see what is the output of this multi-map I'm going to get. So let me do some print. Okay, so maybe I'll try to print here. I'll say system sysout, control space enter, control space will give you that. And let me just print this multi-map. Okay, let me see what exactly this multi-map is going to print. And now we have written all these things in our reducer 2, right? So I'll go back to my driver and I'll have to say use reducer 2. Okay, and let's go to my yeah, we are in the driver program, and let's run this program. I'll say run as Java application. So see the output. Now when you see the output, what you can see is the data is stored in this order: 3 first and then 8. I want to reverse this map, right? If I reverse this map, then I'll get 8 first. That is what we have to do. Okay, now this is what you have to do, right? And this is what we were missing. Control Shift O, right? So this is what you were missing. So in this create method, you'll have to put them where you'll say I want to sort the data in reverse order. Okay, and let me comment this out. We don't need this, and let's try to see the output of this multi-map. Save this and go to your driver program and run the code. Okay, now you got 8 and 3. That's not it. So you got highest occurrence first. You got the highest occurrence first, and then what you will do is, now I know that the first element contains the highest occurrence. So now my code will be reduced again. So now what I'll do is, this is my multi-map, right? This is my multi-map. So let's iterate through this map again. So yeah, so this is how you will basically iterate. Okay, this is how you will basically iterate your multi-map, right? So you can get this information from the API documentation itself. So let's go back. This is how you are supposed to do. Okay, now let's do it. So in my example, this multi-map contains 8, that is integer, and then you have apple and ball strings, right? So you'll say multimap.keyset will give you integer, and I'll say count. Okay, and then you will say from this, what is your multimap here? This is your multimap, right? So you'll say multimap.get count, right? You are saying take this 8 and return me this, right? And you will get them in a list. You'll get them in a list. Okay, list of what? String. List of string, and I'll say words, right? So you got a list of words. Let's cast it to a list. Okay, so you'll get a list of words. Done. Now what next you need to do? Now you got this apple and ball. Okay, so you have to iterate through this list again, right? So you will say for string word of words. Okay, and now you will say, now you'll get access to apple and ball. So let me just print south, say south, control space, and you'll say word. Okay, let's just print out for now, and let's run this program. Where I say run this program, go to driver and run this program. Okay, looks like there is again some fumble with this list, navigable set and all. I'll go back to the reducer class, multimap.get. Okay, let me do the other way around. Say just change it to a navigable set string type. Okay, and let's try to run this. Okay, so this worked, and if you see, you're getting apple, you're getting ball, as well as you're getting cat for the next iteration. Okay, so we'll have to do little bit more now here. Okay, so you got words, and now what I'll do is, I got these words. Now I'll say here context dot write. Okay, context dot write, and let me say a new text of word, and I'll say new int writable of the occurrence. And what is the occurrence? Count. This count. Okay, and what I'll do here, see, this loop will iterate. Okay, and here I'll say break. I want this outer loop to be executed only one time, because second time it will go and call the second. See, what I'm trying to tell you is, this is the condition of your set right now, is not it? This is the condition of your set, and I want I want only the first element to be printed, right? So 8 is what I'll get for the first time. And when I get 8, this words will have apple and ball, and I'm doing it, I'm repeatedly printing them, right? I'm repeatedly saying context dot write. So I'm going to get apple and 8, ball and 8, and I'm done. I really don't care for the second iteration. So I'm immediately saying break, right? And that should complete your code. Okay, that should complete your code. Save, save. Okay, so this is your another approach. Okay, all right, now let's try to run this program and we will see the output file. Okay, so I'll say run as Java application completed. Now you go back to your SD user and go to your highest frequency. This is what you can refresh. You go to the highest frequency output file and you should see the same output, right? So it is up to you. How are you basically solving this problem? And I'm sure you might have solved using the first approach. And I believe you guys are new enough, new into this multi-map concept, right? How many of you knew this multi-map concept earlier? So see, interviewer will ask you this kind of questions. Okay, interviewer will ask you this kind of questions. You have to find out this, and then what? How are you going to manage if you have, you know, like two similar, like you have words with a similar account? How are you going to manage, right? Now choice is yours, but if you say multi-map, then he will be extremely happy that okay, you know very much about Java and how do you handle it out, right? So that's what it would be, right? So all these concepts will come to you when you start exploring, doing a lot of practicals, because I've been using this so many times. It's okay if you don't remember the syntax, nobody will question it, right? You always have Google to check the syntax out. But what is important is you should know that there exists some concept called multi-map. Till today, we all knew that map can store only one value, right? From today, you can say map can store two values as well for the same key, right? My key can be duplicate now, and I'll be using multi-map if that kind of requirement comes to me. Okay, so you'll be learning all these things slowly over the period of time, right? Because like I'll try my level best to put all the real-time experience whatever I have solved. See, if you look into the problem statement, the problem statement looks very simple, right? Word count, we have to find out, and then we have to do this and that. But the concepts which are involved in writing this, how do you refactor the code, how do you use multi-map, right? All these things are really new, and this is what you have to take away from each of these exercises. Okay, all right guys, so that's all for today. If you have any questions, please let me know.